Hi, everyone. Welcome to What's New in AWS with Enterprise Support. My name is Graham Viacelli. I'm an Enterprise Support Manager at Amazon Web Services, and we've got a fantastic show today. I hope you've all had a great week, a great month, and I hope you caught some of the reInvent keynotes that occurred a couple of weeks ago. If not, never fear. We've got plenty of cool content to share with you today. I also want to have a big shout out to some streams that occurred this week that really stood out. This morning in Australian time, the She Build stream featured Natalie Depries talking about earning trust and its importance to our customers. And throughout this week, there's been 3 days of streams about the reInvent announcements and product launches from our developer advocates. It was a fantastic series. If you're looking for really deep dives into the announcements, I encourage you to go and check out their videos. For today, I've got Matthew Platts and Tom Liu joining me for our show. Please, Maya, our producer, if you could bring them onto the show. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, Graham. Hey, Tom. How you
Hey,
doing?
Graham. Hey, Matt. How are you? We're good.
I'm very good. It's been a very busy week. Very busy. Have you guys been keeping up with all the announcements and all the releases?
Oh, my goodness. Last night, I delivered the AIML segment in Brisbane for reInvent Recap. Lots of stuff to talk about and some great engagement from our partners and customers in the audience. How about you, Tom?
Oh, me? Yeah, I'm kind of like learning the new feature, new services in AI ML domain, which is quite so amazing, and can't wait to talk about that today. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, it feels like a lot of the new announcements were in the generative AI space. And even if not directly related, there was a lot of interaction with machine learning in a lot of the announcements. Certainly my first announcement that I'm going to share with everyone
Yep.
is related to generative AI. So without further ado, Maya, if you can share my screen, I'd like to kick off today's stream with a bit of fun. So for those of you in our audience, what I'd like us to do today is to use the new Party Rock playground for Amazon Bedrock that was released as part of reInvent to build an application. I'd love us to all build an application together. I had a lot of fun when this came out. I'd love to hear your experiences, Matt or Tom, if you've had a play, or if you haven't, I can share my own.
I have had a play. I've already written 2 apps that do some form of rewriting of just plain text. So you give it input and it reframes it and summarizes it and breaks it down. So it's still very much in early stage, but I just love the idea of having a bit of a playground. I'm super excited.
So does that mean that Party Rock made our ESM, our Enterprise Support Manager, become like a builder nowadays?
I think we're
I certainly
I
hope
think
so.
we're all builders. Yeah, I think so. But what it definitely does mean, though, Tom, is every message you get from me is probably going to go through some form of LLM just to verify that it's on
Oh,
point
okay.
at the
Okay.
very least.
Well, while
Thanks
we're
for telling
chatting,
me.
anyone in the audience, if you've got an idea that of an app that you've always wanted to build, something that generates text, something that generates images, or a combination of the two, please throw it into the comments and let's build it live today on the stream. If we don't get any suggestions, I've got a couple that I can think of myself, or I'll spitball across the group here. But I wanted to share my experience so far with Party Rock. I've created two different apps and shared them publicly. That's one of the great features about this. The first one I made was a really simple one. It's a recipe recommender and ingredient finder. And I made this with my son. The announcement came out and I was out at a cafe with my son, so we were both really hungry. So we just made this to demo the sort of recipes that we like to cook. Can either of you give me a
I
suggestion for what to cook?
I want to be healthy here, so I want can. I don't want to trick up the AI just yet, but I'm wondering if you could ask it to make you a healthy meal with chicken as the base. Are we starting off on a tricky tangent already, or should we start somewhere else?
Let's get more specific. What sort of meal?
Okay. Um,
You're talking salad? You're talking stir fry?
let's go with stir fry. Let's say let's go Asian stir fry, and let's go dinner with chicken as the base. Is that enough, or do we need some more?
No, this is heaps. So I put my prompt in. As soon as I've completed the prompt, the service takes over, and you can see the widget starting to populate here with the ingredients list. It gives a summary of the ingredients first, and then if I scroll down, I have the instructions for actually creating your healthy Asian stir fry with chicken. Looking through the ingredients, what do you reckon, Matt? Does this match your expectations for a healthy meal?
I actually made a chicken stir fry earlier this week, and I'm looking at the list, and it's gotten absolutely everything right. I didn't use rice vinegar, so maybe that's some advice for me. I did use cornstarch. I didn't use broccoli, but I'm not a big fan of broccoli. Carrots, yes. Bell peppers, yes. Snap peas, no. I need to add that one in. And I went with white rice, not brown rice. So that's pretty close. That's
good suggestion. 100%. And the skinless chicken breast, so you've got no fat on there. It's very lean meat. Yeah, love it. And then the instructions come after. And then at the bottom, we've got an image, which unfortunately I'll have to scroll through. It's a large image, but that's what your meal would look like.
That's pretty cool.
Is it the image like generated by the backend service itself?
Yes, it is. So this is generative AI. The first widgets, so the ingredients and the instructions are both running text generation. And once you've completed your application in PartyRock, you can click on the edit button here. That gives you the ability to change what's happening. So if you have a look at the stuff on the right, is that visible through my screen share, or should I?
It comes through. Yes.
Fantastic. So there's a title. That's whatever you want it to be. But the next one is the model, and this is the foundation model that is used to generate the text. You can change this. There's a number of different options to choose from. Cloud is available from our partner Anthropic. We've also got Titan Text Lite, which is an Amazon model. Then there's the Jurassic 2 and the Command model as available options. You can choose from these and see what the results give you. You may have different value from different models, which is all part of our philosophy around foundational models and generative AI, is giving customers choice. Then you can have a look at the prompt. The prompt is what is sent to the foundation model to generate the text. So you get to edit this prompt. You can see that the meal is highlighted in green, and when I hover my mouse over it, it takes me to the user input that is extracted and placed into this prompt. So that's the text generation, and then lower down at the image generation. What model are you
using for the image?
The model that's being used right now, for the image, yes, is the Stability AI, Stable Diffusion XL model.
Stable Diffusion, got it. Yeah, perfect. And that's maybe this is calling out the absolute obvious here, Graham, but it's taking the same prompt and running it through all the different models for the different outputs.
Correct. So it's a portrait of the meal, as described in the instructions. So it takes the description in your user prompt, as well as the instructions of what to cook when it's generating the image.
So it's building a better prompt, basically, for that particular model.
Exactly, a prompt which is based on the user's input.
Yeah, nice.
We have no requests so far from the audience. If you're quick and you can get one in, I will use your request for building a new app. How about you, Tom, or you, Matt? Have you got an idea? Now that I've done a quick demo.
I can see someone's posted a message about AWS troubleshooting Copilot, which I think is where Amazon Q comes in. But that might be jumping a bit ahead. We're going to talk about that just shortly, aren't we?
Right. I was going to talk about that. So just give us some time.
So Arvind K1, if you don't mind holding on for 5 minutes, let's build an app, and then I'm going to hand over to Tom, and he's going to troubleshoot Copilot for you.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Graham, I'm kind of interested in what's the other app you built on PartyRock?
Sure. The other one that I built is a comic creator. This one actually required a little bit of manual intervention. So I created a prompt that generated the framework for this one, and then I went in there and I edited some of the prompts and created a few more widgets. That's more actually an indication of my failure to do proper prompt engineering. I think if I'd set up the prompt correctly, it would have done more of the heavy lifting for me. But this allows me to create a 5-page comic book. You can enter in characters, a plot, and an art style. So shall we give it a go? I need a couple of character names and a plot and an art style.
Yeah. Because I recently read a lot of like a bedtime time stories for my little one, so maybe I give it a go. So I want to create a story like Pig in the Hat.
Pig in the Hat.
Yeah,
All right. So our main character is Pig.
yeah,
Our other characters, I guess, Hat would be another character. Is
yeah.
there
Like let's say another one will be Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry?
Yeah,
Tom the cat and Jerry the mouse,
yeah, that's
I
fine.
presume.
Okay,
Okay. And you said Pig in Hat.
yeah, Pig in the Hat.
In the hat. Okay. Now the widgets will start populating as soon as I complete the art style. So I want to do that one quickly so that I don't end up with too many requests errors. If you have lots of widgets in your application, you can generate too many requests at one time, which leads to errors. So what's the art style?
Art style.
Comic?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Okay. All right. So once the final input widget is populated, then it starts to generate images. The first two images contain the hero of the story, which will be our pig, as well as all the other characters. These widgets are defined using the art style input above. And then we have an image and a caption for each page of the comic. I've set up my prompt in the comic page. I'll go into that in a minute. But the prompt is actually including a definition of the story structure that I want this comic to follow. So page 1 is the exposition, and then it goes into character development, and then a climax, and then a conclusion. So we can see that we've got a couple of pages completed already. The first page, we've got the scene opening in a bright sunny day in a neighborhood with Pig wearing a tall striped hat, which is nice. There's our piggy down the bottom. In our second page, Pig arrives at Tom and Jerry's house and cheerfully knocks on the front door. Can't see Tom and Jerry just yet, but there's plenty of action happening inside there. I see that there are multiple panels in this page. I need to update my prompt to just be a single panel. So that's more prompt engineering for me. Panel 3 is Pig juggling and tossing some fine china plates. So we're getting into a bit of humor, and then we should have the climax of the story in page 4, where it looks like Tom and Jerry have taken off with Pig's hat and run off down the street. And then the final page is Pig, I guess, with the hat back atop his head. Not quite sure that image matches the comic.
Graham,
Okay.
if I understand this correctly, and it didn't quite click initially when you were initially starting to talk about it, but the AI, so the LLMs are building on the story themselves. So for every additional page, that then feeds the next LLM. So it's got 4 pages and then 5 pages. So ultimately, it's continuing the story in that context.
That's correct. Now that it's completed, I can
Interesting.
show you the prompt. So I'll jump into page 4 so it's clear. In this
Yep.
prompt, I talk about how I want page 4 of a 5-page comic book with the characters following the plot in that art style, and then it continuing the story from page 1, 2, and 3. And this page is the falling action, where it's all over and the main character's won and the aftermath
So
begins.
theoretically, if there was a page that you just didn't really kind of gel with, you could just replace that page with your own storyline, and everything else still flows.
Anything that depends on that page will update again, but the preceding
right.
pages won't update. Exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sounds like whatever you wrote potentially can be like a context and feeding into.
It is, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Exactly that. Yeah, so Party Rock, it's a lot of fun. I encourage you all to get out there. Once you've created an app and you love it, publish it, share it with your friends. If everybody you share it with likes it and uses it, it may even show up on the Discover page, which is where the most popular apps are starting to be posted. So if you want to get onto that page, make sure you share it with your friends.
Can you click, kind of going off script here, but there's a background image virtual meeting background generator. I just need to see it. I'm just very curious on what that looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, so you give it some info about your meeting, and it will then generate a description of that meeting and give you a background that you can then use for that meeting.
Oh, nice. It's exactly what I expected. So I'm going to have to play with that one.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So, as requested by Arvind K1, I'm going to hand over to Tom now to talk about troubleshooting with Copilot.
Sure. So maybe before I talk about Amazon Q, which is the new release services, like a generative AI power assistance for a check style assistant for our customers. I want to help customer understand a bit on like what's the offering. Like we have the Amazon Q business use. Pretty much it's like a services to help you and enable your organization to build a business experts with our services. And basically, you can ingest your knowledge and like documents into Amazon Q, or like you can use our existing enterprise intelligence searching platforms such as Kendra, like to integrate them together. And then it's like kind of facilitate our customer on the general business use case, like searching accurate material on their knowledge, and also like a generate content like summarizations and like email, so on and so forth. And one of the powerful thing about Amazon Q is that it enable like an intelligent style, generative intelligent style, like conversational Q&A. So for that part, like pretty much nowadays, like even like on AWS console, if you got a chance to open one, log onto your console, you encounter errors, and then actually you can copy and paste the error and ask Amazon Q, like, what's this problem? How can I resolve it? And we'll give you a very, very instructive ideas regarding on solving the problem. And maybe Maya, would you mind to share my screen? Okay.
What sort of problem are you going to take us through today, Tom?
Yeah, this is just a very quick one. I want to demo the building Amazon Q to assist our builder or our user on AWS console. Like for example, if I want to demo use case that I'm using a wrong like a pattern to create buckets, and then it prompting me like, for example, this one is super easy to understand. Like, and for example, I put in some uppercase and special characters or so, and I try to create, and it prompt me like on the console is saying that must contain something, which pretty much that the naming of my buckets doesn't align. Then what I can do is like basically, like this is a bit cooking show style. Like I ask a question on how to resolve this one, and with that, like Amazon Q will just give me an idea is that to resolve these errors. Then you're talking about some general rules about the bucket naming, and then it's also talking about step, and I provide guidance, and also provide like even like no matter, because I didn't mention like where the script's from, then he's pretty much also providing the guidance on what AWS CLI I can refer to, and so that I can use. Yeah, this is how powerful it is. Like basically it can help you to check against those like even like a network, issues. You know what, like a lot of situation network is pretty much got the blamed when things not working, and
It's
it's
always
hard.
network.
Yeah, it's right, it's always network. So it's so hard to for you to figure out, but with Amazon Q you pretty much can figure out that, like for example, you can ask question like why I can't connecting to my EC2, and you can share your resource ID, and then it can help you line up the information regarding on the connectivity setting, and provide guidance what you should check also. Yeah, so this is how
Tom, just help
powerful
me
it is.
understand here. Is that's obviously pulling in data from like the AWS knowledge
Yeah.
base publicly. Does it
Yeah.
also have visibility or input into your actual account that you're currently logged into? Can it see, you know,
Your
the
our
buckets?
the account
Yeah,
resources.
can it? That's right.
Yeah.
Is it actually looking at your account, some of your account metadata,
Yes.
or is it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. It kind of like a expert to check against and line up like your existing setting when we are doing
Gotcha.
that scenario troubleshooting. Yeah.
Okay.
Um. Yeah, this is one of the amazing part that Amazon Q can help you, assisting you when you are dealing with AWS console to provision resources or configurations. You can easily click this button, for example, and ask your question here, and then follow this guidance and step. And also, if you're having like support plans on your accounts, you are entitled to raise technical question. You can cut a support case, and then like Amazon Q will help you to connect to our support team. So that's how amazing it is. But also, I want to spend some time to talk about what recently I've been fascinated in. It is the Amazon Q for AWS Builder use. Now, these offerings pretty much like to help our AWS Builder to scale um, they scale their capability on building like workloads or applications on cloud. And in my exact use case, like for example, the service itself allowed you to integrate like a ID, for example, in VS Code, AWS Toolkit plugin or extensions. Once you update the latest one, and you can register a Code Whisperer account. It's kind of those are free version or so. Once you log on to Code Whisperer, and then it's kind of enable Amazon Q integrations. Like once you have that active installation and activation, and then you have Amazon Q in preview function here. Now, in my typical examples, I'm recently been fascinated on doing quite focus on learning LLM fine tuning. And I find that it's so challenging for me to understand those code, like those code kind of using Hugging Face, those open source libraries, and why they are doing that. Like beside, like before Amazon Q, potentially I need to read a bunch of material and potentially maybe ask some peers who have experience. But with the new service or so, it's much easier for me. Like pretty much what I can do, like no matter whether it is in a Jupyter notebook or a Python Python script, what I can do is that if like, there is code snippet section that I'm interested in learning more about it, I can highlight that and then right click. And what I can do is that I want to send to Amazon Q to help me understand what this code trying to do.
Wow, it's like having a senior dev looking over your shoulder, right?
Yeah, indeed. And I can even like I have a bit another example I also want to show as well. Like for example, this is the Hugging Face. This class is pretty much a SageMaker Python SDK class. It's like wrapping those like training jobs classes or so. So what it's trying like surely I understand the logic on that, but from the content generation perspective, uh, on providing explanations, it's really fantastic. Like for example, you can tell me that this is the entry script. Entry script pretty much means that when the training job kicking off and ready to run the training, this one will be the entry point. Yeah. And apart on that is talking about that what like the infrastructure underneath infrastructure I've been using, and also like this is kind of the runtime environment, and at the end there was sort of sums up. And other than that, this is kind of my meat part. What I want to talk about is that I start learning some code, which is kind of on open source projects. And like, like for example, for this one, like create PEFT model and then
It's not
importing
a
bunch of,
very
yeah,
good function name, right? What does PEFT mean?
yeah, PFT basically so-called parameter efficient fine-tuning is kind
Ah,
of the technique to do fine-tuning on LLM. But like if you go into here for the very first time, it's really really daunting for you to understand what it's trying to do. So what we can do here is actually again I can copy them, I can like highlight them, and then again I send it to here, and it can help me understand what this code trying to do.
so when it generates that response, I see underneath you can ask a question. Does that allow you to ask additional questions of this explanation?
That's right. Yeah, this is a very good question. So basically, it support like conversational QA style. So it will capture those like previous chat history. So level history context there. Certainly, it will help you to looking back. And on top of that, like on this one, it helped me understand what it's trying to do, like while calling the method, what it's trying to do, like enabling the gradient checkpointing and so on and so forth to down to sig. And he's very, very caring, like, because I potentially you may not necessarily understand what the so-called gradient checkpointing means, and then it prompting like what is gradient checkpointing, and then it can provide further like detail, like to guide you through. And I have a recent story when I met my peers. He's talking about using Amazon Q plus uh, Amazon Code Whisperer to support their team to create infrastructure as code using CDK. One of the tricky part is that the application they build is so complex and larger scale. It's hard to ramping up their engineers, and with adopting the services, potentially is kind of making that work so super easy. I can do a quick demo, like for example, creating a CDK code snippet to create for creating a DynamoDB table name.
I remember this was a big ask from our customers when Code Whisperer came out, is that it didn't support CloudFormation out of the box.
No, yeah,
And now we've got CloudFormation support, we've got CDK support, and we've also got Terraform support.
yeah. Okay. So pretty much like yeah, what it's trying to do, like it helped me to create a so-called CDK concept like stack. And in here, just look at the core. It just helped me to import the right classes and then
Nice.
like create this part. And what you can do is that this is kind of the related, code. What I can do from here is I just insert the code from, the left-hand side to here. And
Mm-hmm.
or even I can copy and then paste. So it's super convenient for, a AWS builder to interact and build on cloud. It's super amazing. Yeah, that's a one. And last one, maybe I just want to mention that, like nowadays, Amazon Q integrated with Code Catalyst. Pretty much is like a Code Catalyst is a service to help our customer to build their like product or application on cloud. And with that integrations, now customer in Code Catalyst, they can create like a feature story and then assign that story to Amazon Q. And then you can have a developer pair with Amazon Q to implement, like from the idea to implementation. You can ask him to like create the code for you and then create pull requests on your code repo, and you can do code review and then approve it also. So it's kind of
Wow.
making very, very fascinating on building your application on cloud nowadays. Yeah.
And Tom, did I read something correctly, or did I dream it that there was also support for VS Code as well?
Yes, VS Code. Yes. Like for example, on if you're talking about VS Code Studio, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much for that version IDE, we support like a .NET, platform or so. Yeah, we have that. We have that part. Now in my
Awesome.
demo is pretty much VS Code. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Awesome.
Cool.
Graham, I
Yeah.
think you had some Code Whisperer demo as well. Should we bootstrap onto that one from where we are now, or did you want to cover any other different releases?
Oh, let's do it. I got so excited yesterday because I did see the Code Whisperer announcements from reInvent, but I didn't click at the time that it actually got released for the CLI. And so,
Oh,
Maya, if you can switch over to my screen share, I've got a terminal window. It's only available on Mac OS at this point. Hopefully, it's going to be released for other operating systems in the future as well. But this is what I really wanted to be able to do, because I haven't been a customer at AWS for a while. I don't get a chance to build as often as I'd like, and I forget the CLI commands. It doesn't have the same sort of troubleshooting capability that you were describing, Tom, in the IDE. So I can't throw it error messages and help me to debug or troubleshoot the error messages. But what I can get it to do is if I'm going to write a comment, or I can call it directly to say create a new S3 bucket, my bucket. The Code Whisperer application, which is running in the background, will actually capture that, convert it into a Code Whisperer specific call in the terminal window, and then give me the shell command. And then I can execute the command directly within the terminal. I can choose to edit it before it gets executed, or regenerate the answer in case there's some sort of ambiguity in my request. If I choose to edit the command, knowing that my bucket is a bucket name that's already taken, I could then modify it, and I'm away. So this is pretty good for me because when I'm running some builds, or if I am say participating in an AWS game day, and I want to be able to run things in the CLI, then I can help get Code Whisperer to help me out with remembering exactly what command I'm trying to run.
I love that. I can't even remember how much countless hours I've spent just flowing through each of the different variables just to finally get to the ultimate, 4-line parameter that you need.
That's cool. Can't agree more. Yeah.
My go-to would have previously been AWS, and then what do I do next? Oh yeah, -- help. And then AWS S3. Oh yeah, -- help.
Okay.
I don't have to do that anymore. I can just
That's right.
Put in some prompt and I'm away.
Very cool, and very just very usable, really, right? Like right on the command line, exactly where you need the command.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep. One thing I want to call out, like English is the most popular programming language nowadays. Yeah. That's what we are doing now.
Yeah, it's nice that I don't have to think too hard and remember, 5 years back when I was doing terminal commands all the time. I can just say what I'm trying to achieve, and then Code Whisperer helps me with a sequence of steps to be able to get there.
Indeed.
Although I will say, Graham, it does feel awfully similar to like a good old alias in Bash, where you just once you find the command you need, you end up shortcutting it for yourself anyway. But I do love the support in real time in the command line.
Absolutely. Matt, you've got a couple of features you wanted to talk about today.
I do. If you can just grab my screen share, I can. There's a couple of really cool ones that I just wanted to share. So it's all in the billing and cost management console. So there's my screen there. So what I wanted to show you was a couple of areas. So one of the first ones is a new thing called the cost optimization hub. So it's baked right into the billing console. You can't see any of my data just yet, obviously, because I've just turned it on yesterday, and it takes some time to go through and start bringing those insights to the forefront. But I wanted everyone to know that it's available. It's definitely something you can use. It's baked right into the billing console. And again, it's really all about kind of bringing those cost optimization insights right to the forefront of your current environments. As well as that, something else that I thought was pretty cool that I wanted to share was we have a cost and usage report dashboard. We've had it for a while. Customers can deploy it themselves. It's effectively a quick site dashboard that gives you a whole bunch of insights into your environment, where your spend is, what your usage looks like. But what we've done, and I'm going to do this now, so I might do it live, is we've just made it one-click deployable from within the actual billing console. So instead of taking a few hours to do it and doing it yourself, this will now really reduce any friction to get this dashboard deployed for your own environment. So as you can see here, I'm just going to click create. It's within the data exports tab of the billing console. I'm just hitting the cost and usage dashboard, which is powered by QuickSight. We're going to enter a few parameters, mainly just the name of the dashboard and an S3 bucket where it's going to save the Kerr data to. And with any luck, it's going to quickly go down the scenes and go ahead and
would you mind to explain what is Kerr?
That's my username. We'll choose Sydney.
Hey, Matt, would you mind explain what is Kerr?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So Kerr is cost and usage reporting data. So it's effectively at a high level, most people get access, to 1 hour billing increments, so you can see what you're spending on the hour. But Kerr gives you a lot more granularity into your spend. So you can go down into what were my usage down effectively down to per minute and per second in some instances as well. Let me just finish off a couple of these inputs, and I want to kick off this report behind the scenes so I can actually go ahead and show you what this cost and usage report looks like in the real world. Let me grab our bucket. Just give me one moment.
Hey, Graham, I see that Matt's really doing live demo.
It's awesome. The demo gods are so far shining on our show. It's great.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Worst case is it fails, right? We can make it work from there. It's all good. Couple more inputs. So I just need to select. Hold on, my screen's just flashing. New user role will have a path, which I'll just enter as cur on that report. Actually, the path I will use will be the dashboard name. So we'll go cur dashboard. And then let's click create and let's see what happens.
Next year, when we're doing demos, we might have to
behind the scenes, it's doing a couple
level
of
up and sing a song instead of talking to ourselves while we're doing the demos.
Yeah.
It's like patting your head and rubbing your belly at the same time.
Oh, I'm not sure whether the audience will appreciate that. For the multitasker like that.
Talk us through what's happening in the background, Matt.
Yeah. Maybe they just sort of like a network issue.
I think so. Yeah. That's all right. So this solution is based off the cost intelligence dashboard that is available in GitHub. So for customers looking to deploy this as a customized version, you can go there to GitHub and see the code, see what it generates and deploy it yourself. But this is a fantastic way to just deploy it in the console without having to leave and also without having to go through the source code directly.
Gotcha. Looks like it's still working.
Thinking.
Yeah.
While that one's thinking, for those of you in our audience today, if you have a question about a reInvent product announcement or some other feature that's been announced during reInvent that you'd love us to talk about, put it in chat, please. We'd love to know what's important to you, what services you're using, what you liked from reInvent. Did you catch the keynotes? I managed to see the awesome keynote from Werner. It started with a bit of a movie adventure that looked reminiscent of The Matrix, and I also captured the AI ML keynote as well, which was really cool. So we'd love to know your thoughts on the show.
Yeah, the AI ML keynote was amazing. I loved all of them, but that was probably my favorite. I think I'm back. I might have dropped out for a few seconds there. I heard some dropouts, but I think I'm back. We're going to keep going. It shouldn't be network because I'm on gigabit, okay. But let's blame network.
Okay.
But I'm hoping everyone caught that. What we did behind the scenes was go ahead and create the one-click dashboard. So as I said, behind the scenes, what it's actually doing is creating a QuickSight dashboard. You can see the link here, which I'm just about to click on. And what this is going to do is take us directly into QuickSight. So it's going to bring up the cost and usage dashboard. And in here, it's going to have all your data around all the granular information around some of your services, your instances, your spend, all grouped by compute, storage, S3, databases, DynamoDB. Super detailed. As you can probably see, I don't have too many things deployed in my in this account that I'm logged into. But what I do have is, again, I'm going to really test out the demo gods here. I've got another demo account that is set up that has a lot more data that could actually show the power of the insights of the cost and usage dashboard if you have not used it before. I'm really hoping to build a bit of a case here for anyone on the stream who hasn't deployed this Cur dashboard. The friction to do it now is super low. Spend the 2 minutes it takes, go ahead and deploy it and have a bit of a sticky beak into your environment because there's a lot of insights you're going to glean. So you can see my screen now. So this is just a superficial customer that has a pretty large workload, as you can see, with all their workloads spanning multiple regions from US East 1 to Europe Central 1. If we click through, I'm not going to go too deep on this dashboard because obviously it's not really applicable data for customers. It's specific to this deployment. But I just wanted to show some of the insights that you might be able to glean by deploying and using this dashboard. So you've got obviously your spend month on month. You've got reserved instances and savings plans and recommendations into what you should be looking to purchase to save some compute. We've got month on month trends. And then as you go down, going into compute, you can start seeing a lot more detail now in regards to your compute utilization. So on the right here, you can see on demand versus reserved versus savings plans versus spot. So in this fictitious customer, you can see that most of their deployment is based on savings plans. There's not much spot utilization, and on demand seems to be getting better over time, where it's currently roughly about 12%. So yeah, just I think it's definitely have a look if you haven't used it before. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, I want to call out one thing. Like if you can go back to the dashboard, I use this dashboard very often for my customer. One thing I would call out that is like the trending analysis is very useful, such as the third tab. If you can go back, like this, it's kind of the summary. Yep. It's pretty much like helping our customer to understand how their resources usage trending on like current, like previous month comparing to before or so. And like when you go to cloud, you be cautious on how you spend, how you use services, and this kind of trending will help you capture like what are the outlier potentially. Of course, we have the anomaly, like cost anomaly detection services, but this one just lining up help our customer understand from overall cost perspective the trending changes.
Yeah, that's right. And it goes into details too, right? So it's looking on the right. You can see here it's month on month by account. So that's the linked accounts that this customer has set up. But on the left, it's also by AWS service. So you can see how you're tracking in regards to month on month utilization across all the various different AWS services. And that's just the start. As we scroll down, it gets a lot more deeper, and you can start really seeing some visualizations into your usage.
Nice.
Fantastic. Big shout out to our colleagues. This is a feature that was driven by technical account managers working with their customers. It has been stress tested in front of a large number of enterprise customers around the world. And as Tom said, it's something that we do use in the monthly business reviews within enterprise support. So it's very valuable. Lots and lots of insights, lots of capability as well. Plus, because it's available as a GitHub solution, if you need to customize it to suit your needs, you can dive into the code and make those adjustments.
That's right. It's all built on the Cloud Intelligence dashboard. So you can go in and up and enhance it and change it to your will.
Yeah. Matt, there are two questions mentioned in the chat. The first one is how did you generate demo data?
It's not the same dashboard. So the demo data that you can see there is a desensitized same dashboard, but it's using a different data set. So within Kerr itself, you can't give it essentially a demo data. I just pulled up a separate URL.
Gotcha.
But I just wanted to show that account, to show the dashboard with some actual information inside it.
And our audience asks that the data is not like a production data, right? For sure, I think it is not, right?
Well, the data that you're looking at there on the screen is obviously just a demo, so it's just example data. So it's no one's information. But gotcha. the data that if you were to deploy Kerr dashboard into your own environment, it's actually pulling the account information for the deployed account that you're currently logged into.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
And thanks for the questions.
Yeah, thanks for the questions. Yeah,
we have time for one more. If we can wrap one up in 5 minutes, what do you reckon, Matt? You had an exciting announcement about Route 53 and ALB.
I did. Back to basics a little bit really here, but I love seeing some enhancements to Route 53, ALBs, just a bit more of that fundamental infrastructure. And I wanted to flag a couple that stood out to me. One was ALBs, so application load balancers, now support X509 client certificates, which is very, very cool. So if you've got a workload that is publicly facing with HTTPS, so it's got TLS on it, it's still accessible by everyone, right? It's an encryption layer, but it's not an authentication layer. But with X509 client auth baked into ALBs, now you can say only clients that have the exact certificates that I approve of through a CA can actually access this site. So it's really a massive step forward around the zero trust model as well. A lot of workloads could that are potentially internet facing, that want that extra layer of physical security. This really does that step up as well. So I wanted to flag that one. I don't know whether you guys can think of examples of where you have used this in the past or might want to use it in the future.
Have not used it, but it sounds like this is a potential way to move away from VPNs. I mean, if you can now authenticate clients instead of just servers, then is this how we're going to move away from centralized VPN infrastructure?
Very much the part of that zero trust model moving forward.
I did have some sort of software development experience before, and at the time we are kind of setting this kind of like integration, mutual authentication so it's very painful, and there are so many moving parts to manage.
Yeah, that's right.
And glad that like ALB provide that capability.
Yeah.
Love that.
The other one too, while we're talking load balancing and target groups, is that we've got a new weighting, which is called automatic target weights. So basically what it is it randomizes its connections to the target group. But what it also does is it's looking for anomaly detection. So if there is any servers in your target group that starts throwing 500 errors, it's going to detect that, even if it's in a healthy state, and start avoiding transactions going to that potentially that server that might be in an unhealthy state. So it's just another layer of kind of visibility and smarts into making sure that the transactions go to the correct servers.
So I guess this is for anyone who's set up an application behind an ALB, and they may have a health check, which is returning healthy because it's just a simple request rather than a complex application follow through. But the ALB is now able to, or Route 53 is able to monitor what's going on in the CloudWatch metrics of that application.
That's right. It's and it's just quickly saying, hey, look, something's not happening, something is not right on that specific instance, so let's make sure we route things around it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And last but not least from me is enhancement to Route 53. So there's a new feature called Arc Zonal Auto Shift, which is a pretty cool name, but what it actually is it's detecting now potential failures in an availability zone. So if you've got your Route 53 alias, you've got a workload deployed across multiple AZs. If Route 53 starts detecting potential issues within an AZ, so one AZ that your workload is deployed in a multi-AZ environment, Route 53 is now going to look at effectively removing those DNS entries associated with the failing AZ. And that's separate to everything else in regards to your load balancing and your health checks. This is just another layer of resiliency that is being kind of baked into the infrastructure stack.
Yeah. Oh, that's super awesome. Yeah,
and
this
it's doing that for ALBs
really
and for network load balancers as well, which is pretty cool.
Gotcha. Hey, I see there was a question from the chat.
CodeStank has asked if we pronounce it Route 53 or Route 53. As an Australian, I pronounce it as Route 53. I think different parts of the world are going to have their own flavor on that one.
I've probably already staked my flag to the ground, so I can't change it. But I'm a Route 53 person.
Okay.
Let's not get into the AMI versus Amy discussion on this stream.
Maybe we should open up one of those LLMs and ask it what's the correct pronunciation for it.
That would be contentious, wouldn't it?
Maybe you need to put in context for that then. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks very much to our audience for joining us on today's stream. This is our last stream for 2023. It's been a blast. We've done heaps of announcements this year, and we're finishing it with a bang for reInvent 2023. Season's greetings for those of you having a festive season, and for those of you having holidays, please stay safe, enjoy your holidays, relax, recharge. We will be back in 2024 in January. and look out on the Twitch schedule for the rest of the streams happening from AWS this year and into next. Thanks again. Enjoy your holidays.
See you, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers.